The PSVR2 headset from Sony has major issues with dirt on the inside of the lenses. Let's talk about it today. Having gone through the entire process with Sony, there is actually confirmed residue from glue left over in the manufacturing process underneath the lenses themselves, meaning users cannot clean them at home. After a long and lengthy discussion with Sony to get a replacement, here we are today, we finally have it. The new version does not have the dirt under the lenses, confirming the problem. So to describe the issue, let's take a look at some of the pictures that I captured myself and used for evidence with Sony. So as you can see here on these pictures, there's some round smudge marks. They look as if to be on the surface of the lens and they might be able to be cleaned with some kind of microfiber cloth. However, it's not the case, as these are actually marks underneath the lenses themselves, and there's no way to take apart this headset unless you can avoid the manufacturer's warranty, which of course you don't want to do. This is not the first time Sony have had faulty hardware upon a new release window. For example, when the PS4 was released, hundreds of thousands of units were bricked right out the box. Anyway, there's been a plethora of other Reddit users who have also had the same problem with the headset. We're going to discuss those now. Post on Reddit you can see by user ill1337, who has smudges on the inside of his PSVR2 lenses identical to mine. However, he then goes to refute that by saying, "Update, wipe harder, it came off," which, thanks dude, that makes no sense because you said they were on the inside of the lenses, so how did you manage to wipe it off? Here's another post by Omdubar on Reddit saying he also has dirt on the inside of his lenses and couldn't get it off, and it definitely is on the inside of the lens, and it's also visible here on the Digital Foundry hardware review. Interesting find there, Omdubar. I never noticed that myself, having watched that review. Having going back, I'll take a look. And another post here on Reddit by user Supreme Evil, who says he found smudge stains on the PSVR2 lenses, tried to use a microfiber cloth to clean it away, and it's causing blurriness everywhere and text is hard to read. So of course I'm not the only person. He also provided a picture for reference. And another post here on Reddit, I'm not even going to try and say that name, that's impossible to read, but you can see here a final post from Reddit saying the PSVR2 lenses don't look like they've been cleaned properly on the inside and possibly having water residue left over from the creation of the lenses. So good spot there. You can see his post is broken into two different parts, the original post and the actual email from Sony. So this guy has also had a replacement headset from Sony. I have to say, pardon my French, but Sony were a complete bag of shit during this return window process, as they failed to update me on any of the situations that were going on. So to start off to troubleshoot the issue, I went to the PlayStation support website, in which they've set up a brand new PSVR2 support page ready for the launch window. The page then prompted me to call a UK phone number in order to get support. However, when I called this phone number, they told me there was nothing they could do, and the returns process for this headset is web chat only, meaning I'll have to go to a different website and talk to someone in the corner on a little chat box, which is obviously not good enough. I don't feel like this process is appropriate when you're spending £529.99 on a piece of hardware. Customers want to speak to someone on the phone and feel guided through this process, rather than just talk to someone on what feels a bit like Facebook. Thankfully though, on the web chat I was told I was eligible for a replacement, having sent them evidence in the form of pictures on that chat. They then prompted me, however, that they wouldn't be able to do that on the chat. I'd have to go to a different website to access my account, go into the order details, and then request the replacement device. Fortunately, they accepted my replacement request. However, they couldn't arrange a door-to-door pickup, which I was kind of expecting, having spent nearly £600 on a headset. This then meant I had to send the item back in its original box, and yes, while they provided me with a prepaid postage label, I don't have a printer at home, so I had to go to a post office to pay to have the label printed for me, and I had to buy an appropriately sized box, so again, I was left out of pocket. Thanks Sony. Once they'd received the item back in their warehouse, they were supposed to text me upon delivery. However, they failed to do this as well. I then contacted Sony customer support again to find out what was happening, only for them to tell me they had actually received it in their warehouse, but just forgot to send out the text, so it was no big deal. They then contacted me to tell me they'd have to start an inspection window so they could inspect the product and find out if I was lying or not about the fault, which is kind of weird because they're the ones that requested me to send it back, and they'd also seen the evidence in photo that yes, it was actually indeed faulty, so this was kind of weird. They told me the inspection could be completed after waiting up to 5 working days. However, I waited 7 working days and they still hadn't contacted me. I then contacted them again to ask what was taking so long and what was the hold-up, but they just told me there was a delay in the inspection window and they were apologising about it. I asked them for a refund because I thought, well, they already have my product back and it would be a lot quicker for me to just place a brand new order of the headset, which has 2-day shipping window, rather than waiting to go through this whole inspection process. They then refused to give me a refund, once again apologised, and said if I wanted to escalate the issue I would have to wait up to 14 days to speak to anyone from management. And even then the management wouldn't contact me by phone, it would be by email. However then, after waiting a total of 15 working days, Sony actually did send out my replacement headset, which is good, and when it arrived there was no further issues with it, which confirms the fact that it was actually an issue on the manufacturer's side with dirt underneath the lenses that wouldn't be able to be cleaned by the customer. This was an absolute disgraceful attempt at customer service by Sony. I couldn't speak to anyone about my issue at any time by phone, and when I did speak to people on the web chat, they pretty much just dismissed it straight away, having one of the advisors close the chat window on me because he didn't want to talk to me anymore. After waiting more than 20 working days, someone did contact me by email to talk about the issues I'd had during this process, who told me they couldn't do anything about it because they had so many orders in Europe and were handling all the orders at once. I then refused the apology, saying I was out of pocket due to the shipping costs I had to pay for printing the label and buying a box, and also the long unnecessary wait delayed time. They then came back to me with a £10 voucher as goodwill. However, this was also completely pointless, as it was only spendable and redeemable on direct.playstation.com, which is a website that predominantly only sells hardware like PS5 and PSVR2 devices, and about 6 games of which I already owned, so that's a waste of a voucher. I then replied and asked them for a PlayStation Store voucher to buy a new VR game, and they again refused, so fuck you Sony. Anyway, that's it for today guys. Hope this video has helped you if you've seen any dirty smudges on the inside of your lenses that could possibly be glue or residue or something like that stuck to the lens. If you have those issues, contact Sony and you'll probably get yourself a free replacement headset. Peace out guys, see you later.